I'm Nick Utsukos, Director at Growth Period, and welcome to the Growth Podcast, where we talk to industry professionals about ongoing critical market trends. And for our first episode, we have Megan Norris, Director of Career Services at ESGI Potomac. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Nick Utsukos, a Director here at Growth Period.
Hi, Megan Norris. I am the Director of Career Services with ESGI Potomac Recruiting.
That's amazing. So tell me a little bit about your background.
So before I came here, I had started my own business doing editing and writing. About half of that was doing resumes, cover letters, LinkedIn profiles. And some of that came from years, I don't want to say how many, but a lot of years working on job application documents for people throughout my career. So I originally, when I graduated college, had been in public relations. I had been working on doing media relations, crisis communications, speech writing, a lot of different strategic communications. And I did that for some time. And then I made a bit of a career change and I became a federal air marshal, which I did for 12 years. That's how I ended up here in Washington, D.C. And so I did that. And then when I retired, I circled back to the writing and editing business. And that's how I started my own business. And that's how I started offering resumes, cover letters, LinkedIn, all of those kind of job application documents. And started using my experience in different career fields to help people with their own job search strategies and kind of refining their own job searches.
That's amazing. And with everything going on right now in the federal work environment and all these changes that are coming to the forefront, what are the biggest challenges you've had to deal with some of the people that you've been helping with their resumes and profiles?
I think one of the biggest issues that I think people struggle with, that there's a couple of issues. One is when you have executives, you have people that may not have done their resumes for quite some time.
Right.
So they don't realize perhaps how the format or structure of a resume has changed in the years. That, like everything else, it evolves. So there's differences in how we've gone from perhaps an objective at the top of our resume to now it's a summary to now we're talking about things that we call executive value propositions.
Right.
We're talking about what I bring to the job, what my value is, what specifically makes me different, makes me better than this other candidate over here that's applying for the job perhaps that I'm applying for. And that's really what we're trying to highlight when we're doing resumes, when we're doing a LinkedIn profile, which is a whole other new avenue that we haven't had if you talk about 10 years prior. We weren't using LinkedIn as an avenue for job search, for applying for jobs as a candidate. I think the other thing too that we struggle with when we're candidates, that you probably can speak to yourself, that a lot of executives speak to, is describing your accomplishments. When you get to the level of an executive, it's not about the team in regards to we did. It's how did you guide your team? How did I form strategy? How did I lead them into the accomplishments that I had for whatever that goal might be? So it's, again, putting down on paper in a 2-page format, perhaps, how I accomplished what I did throughout my career. And it's very hard for people to concisely put down accomplishments in a clear fashion that then also translates to that specific job they're applying for.
So can you just tell me a little bit about how ESGI Potomac and Growth Period are helping a lot of these individuals, executive level, people who are trying to get into executive level positions or leaving the federal workforce and entering the private sector?
Sure. So what we're really looking at here, we have a couple of different avenues for people. We have ones that are either using Growth Period for their business development needs, and they become aware of the recruitment placement services that are offered through ESGI Potomac. We also have those who have used ESGI Potomac previously, perhaps as clients, and they come back to use the services again, or they've referred other people because they've been clients or that they've heard of through word of mouth, the successes that ESGI Potomac has had. So we get referrals from and inquiries about what services we offer. And what that comes into is we have Evan and Janessa who are working on the recruitment and placement, myself who I'm covering resumes, cover letters, board resumes if needed. I'm doing the LinkedIn profile optimization if necessary. We also have Carrie Montine, who is offering executive coaching. And for me, what I'm doing is speaking to potential clients at that executive level who need help with any of those job application documents and refining what it is they're looking for, where they're at in their executive career. Are they looking to advance to the next level? Are they at the top of their level and they're trying to perhaps transfer from federal government to private sector? Mm-hmm. Are they just wanting to take their opportunity into a different area? Or are they perhaps, what's been happening a lot recently in this environment, rifts, layoffs, and they need another opportunity? We're here for all of that. So what I'm doing is taking their expertise and putting it in a way that communicates their value, their expertise that's unique to them on that 2-page, 3-page resume paper that then can go out and say, here's why I'm the best candidate for this role, whatever that may be, whatever their interest is in. And we then use that as a team here to meet their needs, whether that's giving them job search strategy, whether that's also then they go back and are using the recruitment and placement tools that we also have to offer. So for me, I'm speaking with the client and talking about what their goals are, what they're trying to achieve, what their experience also has been previously. I'm looking at previous documents that they've had as well. It's a very involved strategy and a very continuous loop of communication to get these documents created for them that they can then rely on as they go through a job search process. So this also helps them with their interview process, because once you've taken that time to invest in how do I explain my achievements, how do I explain the experience I've had over the years, but in concise bullet points, you now have that in your head and it's top of mind, and you can use that now when you're sitting in an interview for your next opportunity. So it really overall is a very helpful way of trying to get you to focus for that entire process until you've achieved your next career position.
Yeah, it's incredible. That was my next question, actually, not to make you sound too redundant, but kind of what that process looks like for you specifically on when you meet with these individuals. Do you have them talk out what their professional profile looks like and what their experience has been and try to put pen to paper on all of that?
I try to meet the client where they are in terms of what they're most comfortable with. Right. So for some people, it's giving them questions that they can write out, because some people are better at explaining in writing what their experience is. They're better if they can sit down and have time to think about it. Other people, it's better if they can be interviewed in similar to the fashion that we are. Right. And I'm the one taking notes, because they can talk about their experience, but they're not quite sure how to translate it onto paper. So for them, it's tell me the story. I'll write it down, and then either way, what information they give me, whether it's on paper or it's through the discussion, the conversation, I'm then translating that into an effective resume format that matches up with the job description that they're interested in, because then we're also looking at things that are like keywords and what matches up to the job description and makes them the best candidate in terms of that specific job. And each resume is going to be tailored to that job. It's not one resume and done. It's always going to be tailored to whatever specific vacancy they're looking at.
Well, that's incredible. It sounds like a lot of broad range of essential services that are being offered to a lot of individuals that'll probably be looking for this. So it's been a pleasure to speak with you today, to get to know more about your background and how you can help a lot of individuals navigate the workforce currently. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.